medical center, we offer a lot of different services, and I don't think people in our community even really realize how extensive it is. We have digital x-ray, so if people come in with a fracture, we can determine if it's fractured, if it's something that needs to be sent to ortho and done for further care with, or if we can handle it and cast it here. We have sort of a miniature emergency room where we can handle basic lacerations and biopsies, that sort of thing. We have regular family routine care. We do all sorts of annual wellness visits, healthcare maintenance exams, well child checks, but also people with chronic conditions, whether it's diabetes, hypertension, and that sort of thing. We also cater a lot to tourists who come in who have issues with the altitude, issues with their breathing, COPD, that kind of thing, when they come from different areas and they're maybe not ready to be at this elevation. So we help a lot of tourists out with that kind of thing as well.
Over the years that I've lived in the area, I've seen Ridgway move from a community of roughly 300 people who were mostly farmers and ranchers and to a community now of nearly 1,000, and now we have 25% of the community is retired, so that having a clinic in the area is becoming more and more crucial as time goes by. Over the time that I've been in the area, I've watched several physicians spend, unfortunately, short periods of time in Ridgway County and move on, and this really has given some continuity of care to the area that they didn't have before, which is great.
It's a blessing to be able to help our neighbors, because that's who these people are that come in. They're our neighbors, they're our teachers, they're our kids' best friends, parents, or whatever it is. And so it's really a blessing that we're in this little community where we can help people and give them good care close to home.
Yeah, but
for about a decade and a half now, the community has had a mill levy on their taxes. Some people might know that, some people probably don't even know they pay it. But that mill levy has really allowed us to be here. Without that mill levy, without that support from all the taxpayers here in the county, we wouldn't be here.
If the Ridgway County Regional Service Authority were not here, this clinic would not be here. And I really feel strongly about that. And so there are tensions from time to time about, do we spend money, what do we spend money on? This is the practice of medicine, and trying to inform a lay board how and why things happen can be an extra burden, and that's at times frustrating. But overarching, without doubt, I think that we wouldn't be surviving in this environment if we didn't have the support of the RSA.
Having the support of something like the RSA, the Regional Service Authority Board, is incredible. That has allowed us to actually go to them when we need help and say, hey, this new license for this new provider costs X amount of dollars. We don't have the money to front that, but the community needs another provider because we can't handle all the people. And so it's great to have a board you can go to and you can lay out the numbers and say, if we want to try to keep these people's medical home local, then we need another provider and we need your help paying for the new license to bring them here, or whatever it is. And so it's been really fantastic to have the board's support when we need to have additional funding or backing from the community. We're definitely trying to find ways to take the pressure off, because we've all been sort of working at max capacity for a while here now. But that's just the reality of rural medicine. We all wear so many hats, and there's only so many of us that have to try to care for everybody.
We've spent a lot of time in our staff meetings kind of around staying grounded and practicing good self-care, and having Joel as a leader has been really, excellent. He did a great job, and making sure that we were remaining compassionate, kind of with some of the more challenging dynamics that were coming in, and also taking care of our own selves.
We have weekly discussions at our meetings of at what point do we have to say no more. But at this point, we're still trying to sort of accommodate everybody that we can. We did have to close to anyone who's on chronic pain medication. It's just such a complex topic, and it's one that we didn't feel equipped to handle here when we're also trying to do everything else. And so we did actually close to anyone who does on chronic pain medication, and we refer them to pain clinics, who that's what their specialty is.
I think it's been good for me to be here to facilitate referrals. There was a lot of opiate use, a lot of new patients who were really struggling with chronic pain, chronic illnesses, and were on, lots of different medications that we're no longer able to get.
We've done a lot to try to really help the community. That's the whole point of being here, is that if you're local, we try to serve you. But it's been a process to onboard that many people at once.
We see a lot of depression and anxiety. It can be really isolating here. So a lot of depression, a lot of adjustment type issues with changes in work and, with Telluride, we had the economic struggles from not having a great ski season, and so many of the population in Telluride work for the mountain, and so there's a huge increase in depression and suicidal ideation.
I spend a ton of time talking about behavioral health issues with my patients, and it's because I guess I subscribe to a mind, body, spirit. It's all connected, and I can't really deal with just hypertension, but not the stressors that lead to hypertension. I can't deal with just the risk of cardiovascular disease without talking about other stressors in life and things that are going on. And so I spend a lot of time in counseling, and that's not greatly reimbursed time. And so my hope was, could I get somebody with better skills who are more prepared to be able to deal with that, improve the level of care overall. And so just wanting to care for people is the reason why I've stepped into trying to integrate behavioral health.
Joel's team of individuals that he has working here is very respected in the community. And I heard about their integration efforts kind of back in February, and was just really excited about what they were doing and their attempt to kind of address the barrier to accessing mental health care out on the Western Slope here. Every payer is different for my particular, I'm a licensed professional counselor. So Medicare right off the bat will not pay for people to see me. The only type of license they'll reimburse for is clinical social worker, which is great, but there's a real shortage of social workers.
I think that access with Medicare in terms of specialists is better. I think that behavioral health is a challenge, period. We're really struggling with how do we make that integration something that's valuable for the community, where we get it at the point of care so we can capture those early. And I think the medical community, Center for Medicare, Medicaid is saying, hey, this is important, but right now nobody wants to put dollars into that. They like the idea, and so it's grant supported at this point with a hope that we're moving in that direction, but it's not a sustainable model at our current. And so I think that that's not specific to Medicare. I think that that's behavioral health.
Mountain Medical, a lot of people are making really great attempts to address the access barrier. So, bringing me on is in theory allowing people to access mental health care a lot easier, but it doesn't always feel that way because of reimbursement rates. And so it's hard, and I think it takes a lot of energy on the provider's part to be aware when they walk into a room, oh, this person has Medicare, so they're struggling with depression, but I have to have the conversation about this is what it means to see CAT, it's not covered, and go into all that. So that feels like an access problem itself.